DB versus a monster defensive lineman up front.
Yeah, so I agree with him, and this is something we've talked about quite a bit. I don't think you can draft for need. I understand John Schneider's philosophy, draft for talent over need.
Yes.
And that over time, you will have better success in the draft, which is basically a crapshoot anyway.
Yes.
So I'm not criticizing a talent versus need perspective. But I also think that there are values to each position. Mm-hmm. And when you are at number 5, not that I don't like Witherspoon, not that he's not the most talented guy on the board, and I don't know what else they were supposed to do in this draft that didn't really have any defensive linemen available other than Jalen Carter, who we'll talk about in a minute. But the positional value of corner versus defensive line, you've played the game, you've been in a defense. Who's more important to the success of a defense?
It's the defensive line. We know that. And let's just address it. Let's just address Jalen Carter. Okay. Why not Jalen Carter?
Why not? Because you were as opposed to Jalen Carter as anybody.
Jalen Carter is talented. Jalen Carter is very disruptive. He is a need for the Seattle Seahawks defense.
At a premier position.
He would have been plug and play. You're our guy. He would have been that guy.
So should they have taken him?
Let me finish. The question is with Jalen Carter is will he play hard every down? Will he play hard every play? Will he report to camp in shape? He reported his pro day out of shape. Mm-hmm. Will he report in shape? Will he be motivated at that spot? And when he's not in the building, is he a guy that I could depend on for the next 8 years? Those are legit questions.
Sure.
Is he a guy that I could depend on when he's not in the building for the next 8 years? And I believe that for the Seattle Seahawks, they weren't willing to take that risk with Jalen Carter.
So let me ask you this then. Which would you prefer if you were the head coach of the Seahawks right now? Wondering where your star defensive tackle was quite a bit of the time and what his weight was at, or wondering how many times the other team was going to run for 6 yards per carry right up the middle of your defense? Which would keep you up at night more?
Ask me that again. Ask me that one more time.
Which is tougher? Wondering where your guy is or wondering how you're going to stop the other team's running game because you don't have any defensive linemen?
So if I'm a coach, I need guys I can depend on, period. I need guys that I could trust. I need guys I could depend on. I need guys that are going to show up, right? He could, and if he is on our team, yes, he could probably be there stuffing the run, making TFLs, all that fun stuff. But my question is, for how long? That's a legit question. How long can I depend on this guy? And he may go to Philly and be a monster. He may go to Philly and God knows what.
Yeah.
I believe that when they took Witherspoon, they know his personality, they know his character, they know his makeup. They're like, this is a guy that's going to be here. He's going to show up. He's going to play scrappy. He's going to be gritty. He's going to be our guy. And I think that we look at Jalen Carter, it's like, I don't know. I'm nervous. When I lay my head down at night, I'm nervous. And no coach, especially at Coach Carroll, he does not want to deal with that.
You play with guys who everyone was nervous about where they'd be at any given point? Yes. You don't have to give me names, but like, and what was that like?
Yes, I play with guys where you got to go knock on their doors like, hey, it's team meeting. Where are you? We have a team meeting. Hey, it's practice time. This guy isn't here. What? Hey, go get him.
And which is more disruptive to a team, that or a guy that just can't play? A guy where you're like, yeah, he's just not good enough. I mean, he's out here and he's not good enough.
They're both
they're both problematic.
They're both very hard. But at the end of the day, so you got to respect the game. You got to respect football. You have to respect your teammates. You got to respect yourself. You got to respect this investment. We just poured into you. And so I need guys that I could lean on. And so at number 5, that high, this team is in no position to roll the dice. We're stacking up. We're building years. This team is on their way, Salk, to being a Super Bowl caliber team.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with that, and I get it. And by the way, they have so much more information on Jalen Carter than I do that the fact that they didn't draft him does not make me upset. Like, I get it. They know, they talked to him, they met with him. They have essentially private investigators who know what's going on with him. Like, I don't know jack compared to what they know. So this is not a criticism. But in terms of the logic behind it, to me, this pick was a gift from the heavens. You weren't supposed to have the number 5 pick. So in my view, that's like going to Muckleshoot Casino and saying, hey, I got an extra $1 million to spend. Let's go big and try to turn it into $10 million. So I would have taken a chance there. It's why I would have drafted Anthony Richardson if he was available, because I think you've got a weird opportunity for a free lottery ticket. And if Richardson works out, Pete Carroll called him yesterday, the best athlete maybe ever at that position.
Ever?
That's what he said. Maybe ever. At the running back, at the quarterback position, between his ability to run and throw and everything else, like I would have rolled the dice on that and seen what happens.